Welcome to the Wellness Lab Digest, where we help you to absorb powerful, life-changing insights from top wellness experts with our daily, bite-sized wellness podcast summaries. Each episode is packed with distilled, powerful takeaways to boost your health and well-being. To support this podcast, please scroll down on whatever app you're listening on. Ratings and reviews are helpful. Even better, just send the show to a friend. Or check out our sponsors at the bottom of the page, or simply click the Support the Show link.
All right, so we're diving into nutrition today, and, well, let me just say, it's a wild world out there.
It really is.
We've got some excerpts from a conversation with Dr. Federica Amati, who's a leading nutritional scientist.
Yeah, she's got this really unique perspective, I think, because she's not just a researcher, she's also the head of nutrition at Zoe.
Oh, wow.
Which is a personalized nutrition company. So she's kind of bridging the gap between like the hard science and then what you can actually do with that in your everyday life.
Yeah, that real world application that everyone's looking for.
Exactly.
So we're going to break down some of the biggest nutrition myths out there. Explore this cutting edge of personalized nutrition. And really try to figure out how to optimize our health at every age.
And with all the information that's out there, it can be so hard to sift through what's actually legit and what's just like
totally
hype or, a trend or whatever.
Especially with social media now.
Oh my gosh.
Like every day there's a new or a new thing. Yeah, a new thing.
Supplement.
So it's good to have some solid footing here.
Yeah.
All right, so let's jump right in. Dr. Amati starts off with a warning, a pretty serious warning about the dangers of misinformation.
Yeah.
And she uses some pretty hard-hitting examples to make her point.
Right.
So first up, we've got this misuse of GLP-1 agonists.
Okay, so these are medications like you might have heard of Ozempic.
Yes.
And they were originally developed for type 2 diabetes.
Okay.
They work by mimicking a hormone that helps to regulate blood sugar and increase feelings of fullness.
So effective for the purpose they were intended for.
Exactly. But what we're seeing is this kind of scary trend of people trying to get these medications without proper medical supervision.
Yeah, without a doctor.
Exactly. And it's often driven by like social media hype and, this pressure to be thin.
Oh, for sure.
And the thing is, these are powerful drugs. They have potential side effects.
Right.
They're not meant for weight loss. They're meant for managing a disease.
Right. Yeah. It's kind of a scary reminder that just because something is trending doesn't mean it's safe or right for everyone.
Exactly.
Speaking of trends, though, Dr. Amati also talks about the carnivore diet, which I've heard so much about lately. And she is particularly concerned about it when it comes to infants.
Yeah, she mentions this influencer who was actually showcasing their dangerously high cholesterol levels while promoting the carnivore diet.
Oh, wow.
Which is a huge red flag right there.
Yeah, and that's a pretty extreme diet.
It's very restrictive.
Yeah, I mean, cutting out like all fruits and vegetables and everything.
Yeah, pretty much all food groups except for meat.
Yeah.
And the fact that people are recommending this for infants is just mind-boggling to me.
It's really concerning, yeah.
It goes against like every established health guideline out there.
Yeah, I mean, babies have such specific nutritional needs.
Totally.
So that's definitely an alarm bell.
Yeah. It really highlights how important critical thinking is these days.
Oh, for sure.
Especially online. You can't just believe everything you see.
Yeah, just because someone has a platform or a lot of followers doesn't automatically make them an expert.
Exactly.
All right, so we've talked about some of the things not to do, what not to believe.
Right.
Let's shift gears now and talk about what we can do to take control of our health.
Okay, I like it.
And Dr. Amati is super passionate about this idea of personalized nutrition. And her work with Zoe is really all about that. So can you kind of break down what makes their approach so unique?
Yeah, so they're going beyond just your DNA, like they're taking that into account.
Okay.
But they're also looking at something called your postprandial response.
Postprandial?
Yeah, it's basically how your body reacts to foods after you've eaten them.
Oh, so it's not just what you eat, but how your body actually handles it.
Exactly. It's super individualized.
I like it.
Yeah. And to get this data, they actually have you do something pretty cool.
What's that?
You eat a standardized, high-fat, high-sugar cookie.
Wait, a cookie?
I know, it sounds fun, right?
That's amazing.
They call it the cookie test.
Love it.
So it's basically a way to challenge your metabolism and see what happens. How does your blood sugar respond? How does your insulin respond? What happens with your microbiome?
Okay, so you eat the cookie, they analyze your response, and then what happens next?
Right. So they take all that data along with other information they gather from you, and they create personalized recommendations for you.
Wow.
Yeah. So it might be, tweaking your diet a little bit. It might be suggesting some lifestyle changes.
Okay.
But it's all based on your unique biology.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And what I really like about Dr. Amati's approach is that she really emphasizes empowering you to understand your own body.
I love that.
It's not about someone telling you what to do. It's about giving you the tools to make informed choices yourself.
It's like taking control.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right, so that leads perfectly into our next topic, which is this idea of the golden window, the first 1,000 days of life.
Oh, yeah, from conception to age 2.
Okay, why is this period so important?
Okay, so during this time, your organ development, your metabolic health, even your brain development
Wow.
are all happening at an insane pace.
Okay, so that makes sense that it's crucial then.
Yeah, it's like you're laying the foundation for lifelong health.
Yeah.
So getting the right nutrition, quality fats, protein, fiber, it's absolutely crucial.
And Dr. Amati points out that a lot of times there's not enough support for families during this time.
Right, and it's almost like we're undervaluing this critical period while simultaneously overwhelming families with like a million different products.
And marketing and all that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like which ones actually matter.
Right.
It's hard to tell.
And then you know what to actually do.
Exactly.
Yeah, it seems like a huge missed opportunity.
Absolutely. And that's why Dr. Amati's so passionate about empowering families with knowledge and advocating for better support systems.
Yeah,
It's about shifting the focus to what really matters, which is giving those little ones the best possible start in life.
Totally. All right, so we've got the first 1,000 days, and then Dr. Amati also talks about another growth spurt that happens around age 68.
Yeah.
And this is when lymphatic tissue is really developing,
Mm-hmm.
which of course ties back to nutrition. So
Yeah.
tell me more about this.
Right. So what's fascinating here is the connection she makes between lymphatic tissue growth, your immune function, and the role of fiber and diverse plant foods.
Oh, okay.
It's like another piece of the puzzle, showing how what we eat can have this huge impact on our development and health.
Yeah. And why fiber specifically? What's that link to the lymphatic system?
So fiber acts as food for the good bacteria in your gut, which is known as the gut microbiome.
Right.
And that microbiome plays a huge role in training and supporting your immune system.
Okay.
And a lot of your immune system is housed in your lymphatic tissue.
Oh, wow. So it all ties together.
Exactly. So by making sure you're getting enough fiber, especially from a variety of plant foods, you're helping to nourish that healthy gut microbiome,
Got it.
which in turn supports your immune system.
Wow. That's a connection I'd never really made before.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing how interconnected our systems are.
Totally. And then Dr. Amati also emphasizes the need for nutritional awareness as we go through adolescence, too.
Yeah, because puberty brings a whole new set of changes and challenges.
For sure.
And nutrition is key for navigating all of that.
Yeah. It's easy to kind of focus on early childhood, but those teenage years are just as important.
Absolutely. And Dr. Amati even brings up the link between nutrition and the rising rates of mental health concerns in teenagers,
Oh, wow.
which is something we often overlook,
Yeah, we think about the physical,
Right.
but not so much the mental.
Exactly. It's about the whole picture.
Okay, so now let's get into something that I think everyone wants to talk about, which is blood sugar.
Oh, yeah. That's a hot topic.
There's so much information out there about it, and it
Mhm.
can be super confusing.
Totally.
So I'm really curious to hear what Dr. Amati has to say.
Okay, well, she starts by breaking down the role of insulin and explaining that it basically acts like a key that unlocks your cells to allow glucose to enter and be used for energy.
Okay, I like that analogy.
Right. It makes it easy to visualize.
Yeah.
So insulin is not the bad guy here.
Okay.
The real problem is insulin resistance.
Okay, so let's break that down for me.
So if insulin is the key, insulin resistance is like a jammed lock.
Okay.
The key is there, but it can't effectively open the door for the glucose to get into your cells.
Right.
And this leads to a buildup of glucose in your bloodstream, which can have some not so good effects on your blood vessels over time.
Got it. So it's not about fearing insulin. It's about figuring out how to deal with this jammed lock situation.
Exactly. And here's where things get really interesting.
Okay.
Dr. Amati explains that for some people, fatty acids and amino acids can actually trigger a stronger insulin response than sugar.
Really?
I know, it kind of blows your mind.
Yeah, that changes everything.
Yeah.
I thought sugar was the only thing we needed to worry about.
It's not as black and white as people think, and it really challenges those diets that are super high in protein and fat.
Right, like the carnivore diet.
Exactly.
Wow. Okay, so my main takeaway here is that insulin is actually our friend,
Yes.
not our enemy.
It's essential.
It's all about balance.
Mm-hmm.
And then it seems like the focus should be on preventing or addressing insulin resistance,
Absolutely.
and that it's not as simple as demonizing sugar.
Oh.
We need to look at the bigger picture and consider how much fat we're eating too.
It's about the whole dietary pattern.
Yeah, exactly.
So speaking of technology and all the things out there,
Hmm.
what are your thoughts on continuous glucose monitors?
I mean, it seems like everyone's wearing them now.
Right, they're definitely having a moment.
Yeah.
So Dr. Amati does touch on this.
Okay.
And she acknowledges that they can be super valuable for getting personalized insights into your blood sugar.
Mm-hmm.
But she emphasizes that they're not essential for everyone.
Okay. Good to know, because I was starting to feel like I was missing out.
Right, it's easy to get caught up in the hype.
Yeah.
But remember, the fundamentals of a healthy diet are still the most important thing.
Right. Focus on what we're eating, not just on tracking everything.
Exactly. Okay, so speaking of what we're eating, let's talk about coffee.
Oh, I love a good coffee chat.
Who doesn't?
All right, spill the beans.
Yeah.
What did Dr. Amati have to say?
Okay, so prepare to be amazed. Decaf coffee offers the same health benefits as caffeinated coffee.
Wait, seriously?
I know, right? It blew my mind too.
I thought all the good stuff was because of the caffeine.
Right, that's what I thought. But it turns out the magic is in the coffee's unique blend of polyphenols and fiber, not the caffeine.
Oh, wow.
So those compounds have been linked to a lower risk of chronic diseases like type 2 diabetes and heart disease.
So my afternoon decaf was actually doing me good.
As long as you're not loading it up with sugar and cream. Yes.
Okay, good.
Decaf can be just as beneficial.
All right, but before I get too excited about my decaf,
Yeah.
are there any downsides to coffee that we should be aware of?
Yeah. Dr. Amati does mention one thing to keep in mind. Filtering.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more about this filtering factor.
So unfiltered coffee, like Turkish coffee or French press, can actually increase your LDL cholesterol, which is the bad cholesterol.
Oh, no, I love my French press.
Oh, no, right? It's so good. But
So why is that? What's the difference between filtered and unfiltered?
okay, so unfiltered coffee contains a type of fatty acid that doesn't make it through the filter.
Ah.
And this particular fatty acid seems to be the culprit behind the increased LDL cholesterol.
So it's not the coffee itself, it's this little sneaky fatty acid.
Exactly. It's all about the details.
Wow, this is fascinating. So should we all just ditch our French presses and switch to filtered coffee?
Well, as with most things in nutrition, moderation is key.
Okay.
Dr. Amati suggests sticking to 3 to 4 cups of coffee per day,
Okay.
whether it's caffeinated or decaf. And if you love unfiltered coffee, maybe just limit how much you drink or switch to filtered sometimes.
Okay, so filter my coffee and enjoy it in moderation. Got it. All right, so now I'm curious about this connection between diet and menopause.
Yeah.
What are the latest findings on how food can impact this stage of life?
Okay, so this is where Zoe's research comes in. They found that a high-fiber, plant-rich diet can actually reduce both the risk and severity of menopause symptoms.
But you're talking like fruits, vegetables, whole grains, all that good stuff.
Exactly. It seems like they really are the foundation of a healthy diet no matter what stage of life you're in.
Yeah, it's so cool how powerful food can be, even in influencing things like hormones.
It really is. And to make things even more interesting, Dr. Amati hints at a connection between the gut microbiome and menopause symptoms.
Okay, the microbiome is connected to everything these days.
I know, right? It's so fascinating.
So what's the link to menopause?
So the research is still pretty early, but it looks like the specific makeup of your gut bacteria could play a role in how you experience menopause.
Oh, well,
It's definitely an area to watch.
yeah, for sure.
But what's really empowering about all of this is that it suggests you can actively influence your menopause experience through your diet.
That's a nice change, right? Instead of just being like, well, this is happening.
Exactly. You have more control than you might think.
Okay, so before we wrap things up, let's get real about alcohol.
Okay, let's do it.
Dr. Amati didn't hold back when talking about its impact on both our health and society.
Yeah, she's definitely not sugarcoating it.
All right, so what are the hard-hitting facts about alcohol that we need to know?
Okay, well, she straight up calls alcohol a carcinogen and a neurotoxin, and she's especially concerned about the risks during pregnancy and conception.
Wow, that's pretty intense.
It is, and she cites Professor David Nutt's research, which shows that alcohol's impact on society in terms of harm actually surpasses that of all their drugs.
That's a really sobering thought.
It really is.
It's easy to overlook the bigger societal consequences when it's so normalized.
Absolutely. And when it comes to individual health, remember that alcohol is classified as a group 1 carcinogen, which means there's strong evidence that it can cause cancer in humans.
Yeah, it definitely makes you rethink those casual drinks
You're sure?
and the way alcohol is often portrayed.
Mm-hmm.
So for women who are pregnant or trying to conceive, Dr. Amati is pretty clear that abstinence is the safest choice.
Absolutely. It's about minimizing risk
Yeah.
and giving the baby the best chance.
Right.
Okay, so to make sure we've absorbed all this amazing info from Dr. Amati,
Mm-hmm.
let's do a quick rapid-fire round of fact or fiction.
Oh, I love this game. All right, hit me.
Okay, first one, everyone's gut microbiome is different, true or false?
That's true, right?
You're absolutely right.
I feel like I've heard that it's like as unique as a fingerprint.
It is. It's shaped by so many things, your genetics, your diet, your
Right.
environment.
All right, what's next?
Okay, next one, poor gut health can be linked to serious conditions like obesity, irritable bowel disease, even certain types of cancer, true or false?
That's true too, right?
That is true. Research is showing more and more how important that gut microbiome is.
Wow, it's amazing.
It really is.
Okay, what else you got?
Okay, drinking coffee actually reduces the diversity of your gut microbiome, true or false?
That's a tricky one. I know coffee has benefits, but I also know too much of anything can be bad, so I'm going to say true.
That's a great guess, but it's actually false.
What?
Research suggests that coffee, both caffeinated and decaf, can actually increase the diversity of your gut microbiome.
Really?
Yeah, those polyphenols and fiber are working their magic.
That's amazing. All right, give me another one.
Okay, the first 1,000 days of life are the most important for establishing good nutrition, true or false?
Okay, so I know those first 1,000 days are super important, but I also remember Dr. Amati saying that every stage of life has opportunities for you to improve your nutrition. So I'm going to say false.
You are correct.
Yes.
It's not that those early years aren't crucial, but we have the power to influence our health through nutrition throughout our entire lives.
I love that.
Right.
Okay, next one.
Okay, as we age, our bodies become less efficient at absorbing and utilizing nutrients, true or false?
That makes sense. I'm going to say true.
You are correct.
Yes.
Our bodies do change as we get older. Our digestive system might not work as efficiently. We might not absorb nutrients as easily,
Right.
which is why it's even more important to pay attention to nutrition as we age.
Yeah. Got to adjust as we go.
Okay, next one. The diet of young people is the worst in the UK. What are your thoughts?
Ugh. That's probably true. I've seen those stats about childhood obesity and processed foods. So I'm going to say sadly true.
Unfortunately, you're right. It's a concerning trend, and Dr. Amati points out that this isn't just a UK problem.
Yeah, it's global.
It's happening all over the world.
It's so sad.
It is, and it suggests that we need to look at these bigger societal factors to really address it.
Yeah, it makes you wonder about those long-term consequences. Okay, last one for this round. Children primarily learn how to eat from their parents and guardians. True or false? Okay, so I know that's true from my own experience, but kids are also influenced by so much outside the home.
Yeah. I'm going to say it's partially true.
You are absolutely correct.
Yes.
While parents and guardians play a huge role, we can't ignore the impact of schools, societal norms, advertising media.
That's like everything.
It really is. It's a whole web of influences.
Yeah, you're right.
So it makes you realize that we need to be mindful of the food environment we're creating for kids, both at home and in the wider world.
Absolutely. Okay, so as we wrap up our deep dive with Dr. Amati, she leaves us with this really thought-provoking question.
What is it?
If the first 1,000 days are so crucial for shaping long-term health, what implications does that have for broader societal changes to support families during this time?
That's a powerful question.
It really makes you think about, what is our responsibility as a society to make sure that all families have the resources and support they need to nourish their kids?
Right. Because investing in the health of our children is investing in the future. Totally. So as we continue through this episode, I'm really curious to hear what your biggest takeaways were from this deep dive so far. What really stuck with you?
What struck me the most was Dr. Amati's passion for empowering people to take control of their own health. Using evidence-based information.
It's not about being restrictive.
No, it's not about following strict rules.
Yeah.
It's about equipping people with the knowledge and tools they need to make choices that feel good for them.
Yeah. And I also really appreciated her willingness to talk about the hard stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Like alcohol.
Yeah.
And the dangers of misinformation.
It's about having those tough conversations.
Yeah, and those insights about personalized nutrition. And those first 1,000 days were incredible.
It really highlights how much power nutrition has.
For sure.
Over our health.
Yes.
So to everyone listening, keep exploring evidence-based nutrition info.
Yes.
Be critical of those sensational headlines and trendy diets.
Absolutely.
And most importantly, find joy in nourishing your body with delicious foods. Food can be your ally.
Yeah. And as we wrap up this first part of our deep dive, we're going to leave you with one final thought inspired by Dr. Amati.
Okay.
How can we as a society create an environment that truly supports healthy choices for everyone?
It's a big question.
It is, but it's an important one.
It is. Yeah, it really is a question that makes you think about how we can make those healthy choices easier for everyone.
Yeah, not just the people who have the time and resources and all of that.
Exactly, because everyone deserves to be healthy.
Absolutely. All right, so let's shift gears a little bit and talk about another topic that Dr. Amati brought up,
Okay.
which is portion sizes.
Oh, yeah, that's a tricky one.
It is so tricky, and it's something that I think a lot of us struggle with.
For sure, because how are you supposed to know,
Right.
like, what a serving size actually is?
Well, it's different for everything.
Yeah, and the serving sizes on food labels are often, like, way smaller than what people actually eat.
Totally.
So it can be really misleading.
Yeah. I remember there was a study that showed that people consistently underestimate how much they're eating,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
like by a significant amount.
And I think part of the problem is that our perception of what a normal portion size is has changed so much over the years.
Right. Everything's gotten supersized.
Exactly. Restaurants serve these huge plates of food,
Yeah.
and then we kind of get used to that and think that's what we're supposed to eat.
Yeah. So what can we do about this?
Yeah.
I mean, are we doomed to just keep overeating?
No, definitely not.
Okay.
There are some things you can do.
Like what?
Well, first of all, just being aware of the problem is a huge step.
Okay. Awareness.
Yeah, and then there are some practical tips too, like using smaller plates and bowls.
That's a good one.
Yeah, it kind of tricks your brain into thinking you're eating more.
I've heard about that.
And then another thing is to really pay attention to your hunger and fullness cues.
Okay. Yeah.
Like eat when you're actually hungry and stop when you're satisfied.
Which is easier said than done.
Oh, it definitely takes practice, but it's so worth it.
And I guess it's about kind of retraining our brains
Exactly.
because we're so used to just like cleaning our plate.
Yeah, we've been taught that from a young age,
Right.
but it's not always the best approach.
All right. So smaller plates, mindfulness, and then any other tips for managing portion sizes?
Well, another thing you can do is to focus on eating more nutrient-dense foods.
Okay.
Things like fruits, vegetables, whole grains, lean protein,
Mm-hmm.
because those foods are going to fill you up on fewer calories.
Okay. So you're getting more bang for your buck.
Exactly.
All right. So portion sizes down, awareness up.
Yes.
All right. Now let's talk about something that I think is really fascinating, which is the link between nutrition and sleep.
Oh, yeah. Sleep is so important.
It is. And I feel like it's often overlooked.
Yeah, we focus so much on diet and exercise,
Right.
but sleep is like the third pillar of health.
It's so. Tell me more about this connection between what we eat and how we sleep.
Okay, so there are a few things at play here. First of all, certain nutrients can actually directly impact your sleep quality.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like tryptophan,
Okay.
which is an amino acid that helps your body produce melatonin.
Right. Melatonin, the sleep hormone.
Exactly. So foods like turkey nuts, seeds, dairy products,
Yeah.
those are all good sources of tryptophan.
So like a turkey sandwich before bed.
Well, you don't want to eat too close to bedtime because that can actually disrupt your sleep.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
But having those foods throughout the day can definitely help.
Right. So tryptophan is one thing, and then what else influences sleep?
Well, your blood sugar levels can also play a role.
Oh, right back to blood sugar.
It all comes back to blood sugar.
Everything's connected.
I know. So if your blood sugar is spiking and crashing throughout the day, that can make it harder to fall asleep and stay asleep.
Okay.
And then on the flip side, if you're eating a balanced diet with plenty of fiber protein and healthy fats,
Mm-hmm.
that's going to help keep your blood sugar stable.
Which promotes better sleep. Okay, so we've got tryptophan, blood sugar, and then what else?
Well, your gut microbiome can also impact your sleep.
The microbiome strikes again.
I know, right? It's involved in so much.
So what's the connection there?
So certain bacteria in your gut actually produce neurotransmitters,
Okay.
like GABA.
GABA. Yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah, it's a calming neurotransmitter that can help promote relaxation and sleep.
Oh, wow.
So if you have a healthy gut microbiome with plenty of those good bacteria,
Mm-hmm.
that can definitely benefit your sleep.
That's amazing. It really is. Like everything is tied together.
It really is.
All right, so tell me some practical tips. What can we actually do to improve our sleep through nutrition?
Okay, so first of all, try to avoid caffeine and alcohol close to bedtime.
Yeah, those are stimulants, so that makes sense.
Right.
Okay.
And then make sure you're eating regular balanced meals throughout the day. Don't skip meals because that can lead to those blood sugar swings.
Right, and then incorporate those tryptophan-rich foods,
Exactly.
like turkey and nuts and all that.
Yeah. And then another thing you can do is to create a relaxing bedtime routine.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah. So maybe have a cup of herbal tea, take a warm bath, read a book.
Anything to kind of wind down.
Exactly.
Yeah, love it. All right. So nutrition and sleep all tied together. Who knew?
Right.
All right, so let's move on to another topic that I think a lot of people are curious about, which is supplements.
Oh, yeah. Supplements are a big industry.
They are, and it can be really hard to know what actually works and what's just hype.
Totally. And Dr. Amati actually has some strong opinions about this.
Okay, I'm all ears. Spill it.
Well, she believes that for most people, getting their nutrients from whole foods is the best approach.
Okay, food first.
Exactly.
I like it.
Because whole foods contain this complex mix of nutrients that work together synergistically.
Okay, so it's more than just like taking a vitamin.
Right. You're getting the whole package.
Right.
And your body can absorb and utilize those nutrients more efficiently.
Got it. So food first, but are there any situations where supplements might be beneficial?
Yes, definitely.
Like what?
Well, for example, if you have a diagnosed nutrient deficiency,
Okay.
like an iron deficiency or a vitamin D deficiency,
Right.
then a supplement can be really helpful to correct that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then there are also certain life stages,
Like what?
like pregnancy,
Okay. Yeah.
where certain supplements are recommended,
Okay.
like folic acid or prenatal vitamins.
Okay.
And then there might be certain medical conditions or medications that can interfere with nutrient absorption.
Right. So in those cases, a supplement might be necessary?
Exactly. But it's always best to talk to your doctor.
Right. Don't just self-prescribe.
Exactly. Because some supplements can actually interact with medications.
Oh, wow. Okay. So it's about working with your doctor to figure out what's right for you.
Yeah. Individualized approach is key.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So food first, talk to your doctor, and then what else should we know about supplements?
Well, Dr. Amati also points out that the supplement industry is largely unregulated.
Oh, great.
Yeah, so you can't always be sure that what's on the label is actually what's in the bottle.
Oh, wow. That's kind of scary.
It is. So it's important to choose reputable brands
Okay.
that have been third-party tested.
So do your research.
Exactly.
Okay. I think that's a good place to wrap up this part of our deep dive.
Sounds good.
We've covered a lot of ground today. Everything from portion sizes to sleep to supplements.
We have.
It's amazing how much there is to learn about nutrition.
It really is, and we've only just scratched the surface.
I know, it's fascinating.
So stay tuned, because in the next part of our deep dive, we're going to be talking about some even more intriguing topics.
Ooh, I can't wait.
Yeah.
Like, what are some of those more intriguing topics you're talking about?
Well, we're going to be diving into the world of food sensitivities and allergies.
Ooh, that's a big one.
Yeah, it is. And it's something that a lot of people are struggling with these days.
For sure. It seems like everyone's got some kind of food intolerance.
Right.
Yeah.
And it can be so hard to figure out.
Yeah, what's actually going on?
Exactly. Like, is it an allergy? Is it an intolerance?
What are the symptoms?
Yeah, and what can you do about it?
All right, so food sensitivities and allergies, that's definitely a must listen.
Absolutely.
Okay, what else is on the agenda?
Well, we're also going to be talking about the ethics of the food industry.
Ooh, okay, that's a big one.
It is. It's a complex issue.
Yeah, for sure. There's so many layers to it.
Exactly, like how are our food choices impacting the environment?
Right.
Animal welfare,
Mhm.
social justice.
That's all connected.
It really is.
All right, so I'm really looking forward to that conversation.
Me too.
Okay, so we've got food sensitivities and allergies, the ethics of the food industry. Anything else?
Well, we're also going to be talking about the future of nutrition.
Ooh, okay, crystal ball time.
Yeah, like what are the trends we can expect to see? What are the new discoveries that are going to change the way we eat?
What's coming down the pipeline?
Exactly. So
Okay.
it's going to be a really exciting episode.
I can't wait. I'm already marking my calendar.
Me.
All right, so for everyone listening, make sure you tune in for the next part of our deep dive.
Yeah, we've got so much more to explore.
We do. And in the meantime, we encourage you to keep learning, keep asking questions, and keep nourishing your body with delicious food.
Remember, food is your friend.
It is. And that brings us to the end of this episode of The Deep Dive.
Thanks for listening.
We hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time for more fascinating insights into the world of nutrition.
Bye for now.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Wellness Lab Digest. If you receive value from the podcast, I have 3 asks of you. 1, share the show on social media with your friends and tag the show at the Wellness Lab Digest on Instagram. Number 2, please leave a rating and review in whatever app you're listening on. And last but not least, please let me know what topics you would like us to cover in the future. You can contact me at empoweringmen.org/contact. And right now we have a free ebook to get you started on your wellness journey as well. That's empoweringmen.org/contact. To support this podcast, check out our sponsors at the bottom of the page or simply click the Support the Show link.